All right, now you're ready for the golden rule of the critical reading section. If you just remember and use this rule, your score is going to skyrocket because you're going to bypass the main trick that the SAT uses to screw with your head when you're taking this section. Here it is. Come up with your own answers before you look at the test's answers whenever you possibly can. Here's how the SAT works. They don't ask you hard questions on the critical reading section. Instead, they ask you easy questions and then they give you 5 answers that all seem completely legitimate. Let me give you an example. What's the main idea of this passage? Well, you just read it. You definitely know what the main idea is, but then here's how they'll screw with you. They'll put 5 answers in that all kind of seem correct, and that's why this section is so hard. So let's say you read a book about how dogs are more friendly than cats. Well, they'll say, what's the main idea? And then they'll say, dogs are more comfortable to have on your couch than cats. That's way too specific. Then they'll say something like, how a certain kind of animal behaves. No, that's way too broad, and it's kind of a comparison. It's not talking about a single animal. What you need to do is answer the question on your own and then find the answer that matches your answer. It's the only way to bypass this. So whenever you read any question, whether it's what's the tone of the passage or what did the author mean when he said this, you have to come up with your own answer. If you don't, you're going to get tricked. They have a bunch of people sitting around writing these problems that are just thinking of things that are going to kind of get in your head. You're going to say things like, oh, I remember reading that, sure, except it's too specific or it's too broad or it's not quite related. You need to guard yourself against their BS by coming up with your own answers first. It's really the only way to do this. So make sure you always come up with your own answer. Sometimes it might be a little bit difficult. Things like, what might the author say if he read this hypothetical passage? But even then, you can still come up with a general answer. Something like, well, I don't know exactly what he'd say or what they're going to suggest, but I know that he doesn't like it, so he's probably going to say something negative about it. Or if they say, what might the title of this book be? You can say, I have no idea what they're going to suggest, but I know that the book is all about Genghis Khan. So something like Genghis Khan, World Conqueror, something like that. Just come up with your own answer. Once you come up with it, you realize how silly all their kind of fake answers are. But until you do, you'll fall for everything. And rather than kind of finding the right answer, you're going to start justifying all their wrong answers and get tripped up. Use this every time and you're going to be money. Cheers.